Adventures of Tom Bombadil. Basically, what I'm gonna do is reading the two first chapters in English. So, let's start. Chapter 1: The Adventures of Tom Bombadil. Old Tom Bombadil was a merry fellow. Bright blue his jacket was, and his boots were yellow. Green were his girdle, and his breeches all of leather. He wore in his tall hat a swan-wing feather. He lived up under hill, where the withy windle ran from a grassy well down into the tingle. Old Tom in summertime walked about the meadows, gathering the buttercups, running after shadows, tickling the bumblebees that buzzed among the flowers, sitting by the waterside for hours upon hours. There his beard dangled long down into the water. Up came Goldberry, the river's woman daughter, pulled Tom's hanging hair, in he went a-wallowing, under the water lilies, bubbling and a-swallowing. "Hey, Tom Bombadil, whither are you going?" said fair Goldberry. "Bubbles you are blowing, frightening the finny fish and the brown water rat, startling the dab chicks and drawing your fair hat." "You bring it back again, there's a pretty maiden," said Tom Bombadil. "I do not care for wadding. Go down, sleep again where the pools are shady, far below willow roots, little water lady." Back to her mother's house in the deepest hollow swam young Goldberry, but Tom he would not follow. On knot willow roots he sat in sunny weather, drying his yellow boots and his draggled feather. Up woke Willow Man, began upon his singing. Sank Tom fast asleep under branches swinging. In a crack caught him tight, sink. It closed together, trapped Tom Bombadil, coat and hat and feather. "Ha, Tom Bombadil, we be you a-thinking, peeping inside my tree, watching me a-drinking, deep in my wooden house, tickling me with feather, dripping wet down my face like a rainy weather. You let me out again, old man Willow. I am stiff lying here, there no sort of pillow. You hard crooked roots, drink your river water. Go back to sleep again like the river daughter." Willow Man let him loose when he heard him speaking, locked fast his wooden house, muttering and creaking, whispering inside the tree. Out from willow tingle, Tom went walking on up the withy windle. Under the forest eaves he sat a while a-listening. On the bark peeping birds were chirruping and whistling. Butterflies about his head went quivering and winking, until grey clouds came up as the sun was sinking. Then Tom hurried on. Rain began to shiver, round rings spattering in the running river. A wind blew, shaken leaves, chilly drops were dripping. Into a sheltering hole old Tom went skipping. Out came Badger Brock with his snowy forehead and his dark blinking eyes. In the hill he quarried with his wife and many sons. By the coat they caught him, pulled him inside their hearth, down their tunnels brought him. Inside their secret house they were sat mumbling. "Ho, Tom Bombadil, where have you come tumbling? Bursting in the front door, badger folk have caught you. You'll never find it out, the way that we have brought you. Now, old Badger Brock, do you hear me talking? You show me out at once, I must be a-walking. Show me to your back door under briar roses, then clean grimy paws, wipe your earthly noses. Go back to sleep again on your straw pillow, like fair Goldberry and Old Man Willow. Then all the bag of folk said, "We beg your pardon." They showed Tom out again to their thorny garden, went back and hid themselves, a shivering and a shaking, blocked up all their doors, earth together racking. Rain had passed, the sky was clear, and in the summer gloaming, old Tom Bombadil laughed as he came homing, unlocked his door again and opened up the shutter. In the kitchen round the lamp moth began to flutter. Tom through the window saw waking stars come winking, and the new slender moon early westward sinking. Dark came under hill. Tom he lit a candle. Upstairs creaking went, turned the door handle. "Oh, Tom Bombadil, look what night has brought you. I'm here behind the door. Now at last I've got you. You'd forgotten barrow-wigged, dwelling in the old mound, up here on hilltop with the ring of stones round. He's got loose again, under earth he'll take you. Poor Tom Bombadil, pale and cold he'll make you. Go out, shut the door, and never come back after. Take away gleaming eyes, take your hollow laughter. Go back to grassy mound and your stunning pillow. Lay down your bunny head like Old Man Willow, like young Goldberry and badger folk in barrow. Go back to buried gold and forgotten sorrow." Out fled barrow-wigged, through the window leaping, through the yard over wall like a shadow sweeping. Uphill wailing went back to leaning stone rings, back under lonely mound, rattling his bone rings. Old Tom Bombadil lay upon his pillow, sweeter than Goldberry, quieter than the willow, snugger than the badger folk or the barrow dwellers, slept like a humming dove, snored like pillows. He woke in morning light, whistled like a starling, sang, "Come, Derry doll, merry doll, my darling." He clapped on his battered hat, boots and coat and feather, opened the window wide to the sunny weather. Wise old Tom Bombadil, he was a wary fellow. Bright blue his jacket was, and his boots were yellow. No one ever caught old Tom in upland or in tingle, walking the forest path or by the wither window, or out on the lily pools in boat upon the water. But one day Tom he went and caught the river daughter, in green gown, flowing hair, sitting in the rushes, singing old water songs to birds upon the bushes. He caught her, held her fast, water rats went scattering, reeds hissed, herons cried, and a herd was fluttering. Said Tom Bombadil, "Here's my pretty maiden, you shall come home with me, the table is all laden, yellow cream, honeycomb, white bread and butter, roses at the window-sill and peeping round the shutter. You shall come under hill, never mind your mother, in her deep weedy pool, there you'll find no lover." Old Tom Bombadil had a merry wedding, crowned all with buttercups, hat and feather shedding. His bride, with forget-me-nots and flag lilies for garland, was robed all in silver green. He sang like a starling, hummed like a honeybee, lilted to the fiddle, clasping his river maid round her slender middle. Lamps gleamed within his house, and white was the bedding. In the bright honeymoon, badger folk came treading, danced down under hill, and Old Man Willow tapped at the window pane as they slept on the pillow. On the bank in the reeds with a woman sighing, heard old Barrow right in his mount crying. Old Tom Bombadil heeded not the voices, taps, knocks, dancing feet, all the mighty noises. Slept till the sun arose, then sang like a starling. Hey, come, Derry doll, merry doll, my darling. Sitting on the doorstep, chopping sticks off willow, while fair Goldberry combed her tresses yellow. Chapter 2. Bombadil goes boating. The old year was turning brown, the west wind was calling. Tom caught a pigeon leaf in the forest falling. I've got a happy day blown me by the breezes. Why wait till morrow year? I'll take it when me blazes. This day I'll mend my boat and journey as it chances, west down the withy stream, following my fancies. Little bird sat on twig. Willow Tom, I hate you. I've a guess where your fancies lead you. Shall I go, bring him word to meet you? No names, you tell tale, all I skin and eat you, babbling in every ear things that don't concern you. If you tell Willow Man where I've gone, I'll burn you, roast you on the willow spit. That'll end your prying. Willow Wren cocked her tail, piped as she went flying. Catch me first, no names are needed. I'll perch on his hither ear. The message will be heeded. Down my mouth, I'll say, just as sun is sinking. Hurry up, that's the time for drinking. Tom laughed to himself. Maybe then I'll go there. I might go by other ways, but today I row there. He shaved oars, patched his boat. From Hidden Creek he hauled her, through reed and sallow brake, under leaning alder, then down the river went, singing, silly sallow, flow with the willow stream over deep and shallow. Wee Tom Bombadil, whither be you going, bobbing in a cockle boat, down the river rowing? Maybe to Brandywine, along the withy windle, maybe friends of mine fire for me will kindle, down by the haze end. Little folk I know there, kind at the day's end, now and then I go there. Take word to my kin, bring me back their tidings, tell me of diving pools and the fish's hidings. Nay then, said Bombadil, I am only rowing just to smell the water like, not on errands going. Tee-hee, cocky Tom, man your tap, Tom founder. Look out for willow snacks, I'd love to see you flounder. Talk less, fisher blue, keep your kindly wishes, fly off and bring yourself with the bones of fishes. Gay lord on your bow, at home a dirty varlet, living in a sloven house, through your breast be scarlet. I've heard of fisher birds, big in air a dangling, to show how the wind is set, that's an end of angling. The king's fisher shut his beak, winked his eye, as singing, Tom passed at the mouth. Flash, then he went, winging. Dropped down jewel blue a thither, and Tom caught it, gleaming in a sun ray, a pretty gift he thought it. He stuck it in his tall hat, the old feather casting. Blue now for Tom, he said, a merry hue and lasting. Rings swelled round his boat, he saw the bubbles quiver. Tom slapped his oar, smack, at a shadow in the river. Whoosh, Tom Bombadil, it's long since last I met you. Turn water boatman, eh? What if I upset you? What? Why, Whisker lad, I'd ride you down the river. My fingers on your back would set your hide a shiver. Bish, Tom Bombadil, I'll go and tell my mother. Call all our kin to come, father, sister, brother. Tom's gone mad as a good with wooden legs. He's paddling down with the window stream, an old dapper straddling. I'll give your otter fell to barrow rights. They'll tow you, then smother you in gold rings. Your mother, if she saw you, she'd never know her son unless 'twas by a whisker. Nay, don't tease old Tom, until you be far brisker. Whoosh, said Other Lad, river water spraying over Tom's head and all, set the boat a-swaying. Dived down under it, and by the bank lay peering, till Tom's merry song faded out of hearing. Old Swan of Elvedile sailed past him proudly, gave Tom a black look, snorted at him loudly. Tom laughed. You old cock, do you miss your feather? Give me a new one then, the old was worn by weather. Could you speak a fair word, I would love you dearer, long neck and dumb throat, but still a healthy sneerer. If one day the king returns, in upping he may take you. Brand your yellow bill, and less lordly make you. Old Swan have his wings, hissed, and paddled faster, in his wake bobbing on Tom when rowing after. Tom came to Withy-ware, down the river rushing, foamed into window reach, a bubbling and a splashing. Poor Tom of a stone spining like a windfall, popping like a bottle cork to the height at Greenwall. Hoy, his woodman Tom with his billy bird on, loved all the little folk of Highsand and Brereton. Where, Tom, we'll shoot you dead with our bows and arrows. We don't let forest folk nor buggies from the barrows cross off the Brandywine by cockle boat nor ferry. Fine little fat bellies, don't you make so merry? I've seen hobbit folk digging holes to hide them, frightened if a honeycot or a badger eyed them. A fairer of the moony beams, their own shadows shining, I'd call the orcs on you that send you running. You may call Woodman Tom, and you can talk your bird off, 3 arrows in your hat, you were not afeard of. Where would you go to now? If for beer you're making, the barrows ain't deep enough in Brereton for your slacking. Away over Brandywine by Sharrabourne I'd be going, but too swift for Cockleboat the river now is flowing. I'd bless little folk that took me in their wherry, wish them evenings fair and many mornings merry. Red flowed the Brandywine, with flame the river kindled, as sun sunk beyond the shire, and then to grey it dwindled. My steps empty stood, none was there to greet him. Silent the causeway lay, said Tom, a merry meeting. Tom stumped along the road as the light was failing. Rushy lamps gleamed ahead. He heard a voice him hailing. Wha there? Ponies stopped, wheels halted sliding. Tom went plodding past, never looked beside him. Oh there, beggarman tramping in the marish. What's your business here? Had Ulster with arrows. Someone's warned you off, got you at your sneaking. Come here, tell me now what it is you're seeking. Shy ill, I'll be bound, that you've not a penny. I'll bid them lock their doors, and then you won't get any. Well, well, muddy feet, from one that's late for a meeting, away back by the Mythe, that's a sorry greeting. You old farmer fat that cannot walk for wheezing, cart drawn like a sack ought to be more pleasing. Pennywise, stubborn legs, a beggar can be chooser, or else I'd bid you go, and you would be the loser. Come, maggot, help me up, a tankard now you owe me. Even in cockshut light an old friend should know me. Laughing they drove away, in rushy never halting. Though the inn open stood, and they could smell the malting. They turned down the maggot's lane, rattling and bumping. Tom in the farmer's cart dancing round and jumping. Stars shone on Bamfell Long, and Maggot's house was lighted. Fire in the kitchen burned to welcome the benighted. Maggot's son bowed at door. His daughters did their curtsy. His wife brought tankards out for those that might be thirsty. Songs they had in merry tales, the supping and the dancing. Goodman Maggot there for all his belt was prancing. Tom did a hornpipe when he was not quaffing. Daughters did the springer ring, Goodwife did the laughing. When others went to bed in hay, fern or feather, close in the ingle nook they laid their heads together. Old Tom and Muddy Feet swapping all the tidings from Barrow-Town to Tower Hills, of walkings and of ridings, all wet ear and barley corn, of sowing and of reaping, queer tales from Bree and talk at smithy, meal and chipping. Rumors on whispering trees, south wind in the larches, tall watchers by the ford, shadows on the marches. Old Maggot slept at last in share beside the embers. Ere down Tom was gone, as dreams one half remembers, some merry, some sad, and some of hidden warning. None heard the door unlocked, a shower of rain at morning, his footprints washed away. At Mythe he left no traces, at Hayes End they heard no song nor sound of heavy basses. 3 days his boat lay by the Hythe at Greenwell, and then one morn was gone back up with the window. Other folk, hobbits said, came by night and loosed her, dragged her over Wear, and upstream they pushed her. Out from Elvet Isle, Old Swan came sailing. In Beck took her painter up, in the water trailing. Drew her proudly on, other swan beside her, round old Willow Man's crooked roots to guide her. The king's fisher perched on bow, on throat the rain was singing. Merrily the cockle boat homeward they were bringing. To Tom's Creek they came at last. Other lad said, "Wish now." What's a good without his legs? Or a finless fish now? Oh, silly sorrow, willow stream, the oars they'd left behind them. Long they lay at Greenwell Hythe for Tom to come and find them. So, that's it for today. This was the adventures of Tom Bombadil. I hope I will have made a good reading, even in English. It's quite difficult to do, but I have to say it is very well written, so it makes it, I think, easier to read. So, yeah. And I personally find the original version much more pleasant to read than the French one, because of the sonorities and everything, you know. Anyway, if you want me to continue the story, tell me. I can do the whole book if you want. And thank you for listening to